Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing really well. My last lesson was all about the major blues and 3 patterns over that. You can watch that here, but today is the minor version of that. Loads of different types of minor blues, 12-bar blues, chord progressions, but this is the one we're going for today. You can download this PDF and all the shapes and the backing track below. So let's dive into the first pattern, and we're in the key of C minor here. So C is the root. That's that red blob there. Okay, that's the root note. And the 5 is a 5th, and you can drop down to that. Very important interval, that. That's a 5th above the root, and this is a 5th below the root. Okay, used a lot in country music, Latin, and here we're using it in blues. So that's a flat 7. It's very important to understand what intervals are and where they lie in relation to a root. So the red is the root. So or just learn these. There's a 5th drop down there. There's your flat 7. Just sounds really good. And we're playing a flat 3rd. And these are all the position it occurs within a scale. So, you know, flat 3rd is the 3rd note in a minor scale, which can be played on the same string. But this is exactly how we're playing the pattern for now. Listen to Midnight Blues by Gary Moore and you'll hear that pattern at play. And you can use this any minor chord. It doesn't actually have to be a blues, you know, funk. You know, I love patterns on bass. They really, really help, I think. And the great thing about it is you can move it. So now the next chord is an F minor. So let's change our root, the red blob. Let's now put that to start on an F. And the relationship, the patterns are the same. So you drop down to your 5. That flat 7 is 2 frets lower, that's that direction, than the root. And there's your flat 3rd. You know, if you give it a bit of vibrato, some slides, you can add that soul blues feel that sounds really good. Back to the C. Now there, I was doing a lot of stuff like that in the intro, just leading into the next chord chromatically. You know, the chromatic scale is this. You know, so just when you go up a fret each time, it's said to be chromatic. So F. We're at the G now, and you could do the same pattern. F again, F minor. There's the C again. There's something about the notes being across 3 strings like this that allows me anyway to play. It feels a bit different, you know. You can play it slightly differently, but for me, I prefer this way. Probably because of that little slide you can do on the same string from the flat 7 to the root. Now that's pattern 2. I've actually done a video on this before, and it's like a funk formula. It's used in funk so much. You know, any minor chord, all of these shapes will work, and it's not just a 12-bar minor blues this will work. But let's look at this one. We've got a root again. There's that 5 again. This time we're not going down to it. We're going up. And a 5th is just the 5th note in a scale. Always know your scales, by the way, because theory is explained very easily if you know your basics of a major scale and natural minor scale. Okay, so that's the 5th, flat 7, and then there is the octave. You know, I can think about hip hop, jazz, rock, funk, pop. These shapes will be found there as well, and that's the great thing about blues. Blues gave rise to a lot of other styles of music. Combine the shapes. Shape 1, and that's the second shape. As I said, download the backing track and play along to it, but you can actually just have hours of fun just playing on your own. It just sounds so cool when you do that. Let's move on to shape 3. Now, there's a lot of the history of modern rock and blues in just this one shape. There's so much to be learnt in here, but let's just learn it first. So we're on the C again. We've got a root, a flat third, a fourth, that's a flat 5, and then the 5th. Actually, that's just a minor blues scale, just chopping the top 2 notes off. So I like this shape. There's lots to be done there. So listen to this. Playing it slightly differently. I'll do it within this shape. So that's the root, fourth to the flat third. That's the C, F, E flat. Probably heard that's very famous. And that note there, the flat 5, if you hit it, it just sounds a bit tense and dissonant, and it's just blues, isn't it? You can use it that way as a passing note. So there I went. So fret 4 to 5, that's your flat 5 to the 5th, okay? And then I'm doing a hammer on actually there. And then I'm passing through that unstable flat 5 to the 5 or the 4, and that's a really good thing. I never ever think about it in those analytical terms when I'm playing it, but that's what's happening. Pull off to the 4. Okay, let's keep something simple and use that pattern. So start on the first note, ignore the flat 5. So C, E flat, F, G, I just went there. A little fill at the end with that flat 5. Then we go to F and do the same thing. And if you go, it's an inbuilt sort of lead in to the C minor chord again. G minor now, we can play it. Or play it down there or up here, doesn't matter. Then F minor. At the end of a 12-bar blues, you can sort of add in a bit more. And there, I just actually used a bit of all 3 shapes. So there are far more than 3 shapes that you can use over any minor chord or, 12-bar blues like this. But I think it's good just to start fairly simply. So I've got 3 there. Do watch the 3 major blues video as well. There's also plenty of other pattern videos I've got, including this one that you should check out. But, make your life easier on bass by thinking in terms of patterns, and make sure that you know the interval structure of whatever pattern. A pattern is simply just a scale, an arpeggio, a mode, or a triad, these sort of theory concepts. It just makes it easier, I think, to learn them. And yeah, just have fun with it. And if you have any questions whatsoever, let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.